Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert, covering Bud Light getting replaced by ultra-right beer. Okay, Bud Light's been going through a lot over the last couple of months, especially since April, and this entrepreneurial conservative guy started up a beer called ultra-right. I have not covered ultra-right. I've been aware of it for months, and there's a reason why I haven't covered it, because it's been, up until now, a mail order product that, yes, you can buy 6 of them for like $19.95. It could take months to actually get the beer. Not really a product that you could see as a reasonable replacement for Bud Light or any kind of product. You got to be able to buy something and actually get it. However, there has been a change. He's now expanded the business and he just started up in April. A lot of respect for that entrepreneurial hustle. I know it ain't easy, but he started up in April. They've done more than $1 million in sales in the first 2 weeks of business. Again, not a big number, but for the first 2 weeks of a startup, that's good. And now they're shipping ultra-right to bars, stores, restaurants throughout the southern states. Now that's important, and that's something we have to talk about. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Coming from Fox Business, ultra-right woke-free beer is hitting the shelves in thousands of stores and restaurants across the southern states. Why the southern states? Well, we have heard that Bud Light is getting absolutely destroyed in the southern states. It's definitely doing bad in the north and the northeast. It's doing bad in the west. It's doing bad in the center of the country. But when it comes to doing absolutely terrible, keeping in mind that North Carolina and South Carolina supplied glass plant that had to close down because Anheuser-Busch knows they're never going to be getting more business there again. Also, hearing that back on Memorial Day, Florida was off 60% at least with their Bud Light sales, and knowing that Anheuser-Busch products are also getting destroyed in those southern markets in particular. What a great place to work with distributors and set up your alternative. Conservatives have had enough of woke corporations and they're fighting back with their wallet, CEO Seth Weathers said of the brand's success. And this is happening in more than just beer, of course. It's also happening, we know, in movies. People are just not supporting Disney and all its different products and divisions. People are also getting comics from crowdfunding sources like the Comicsgate guys and other crowdfunding publishers. We're going to start to see this expand, and it's great when we can support and encourage it because money still makes a difference, no matter who the big investors are behind these big companies pushing this agenda through products. Conservative Dad's ultra-right beer, the brand launched in opposition to Bud Light's woke partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, is saying it's dominating the market by signing new distribution deals in multiple states to appear in thousands of retailers, bars, and restaurants. Now, it's probably not dominating any market whatsoever, and it's good for him to be enthusiastic. He can be the Stan Lee of beer. There's nothing wrong with that. But just being able to get into the marketplace is a very big deal. And there are a lot of independent distributors. There are 500 independent distributors that are selling Anheuser-Busch's products all over the country. They're selling multiple craft beers. They're open to product if you've got something that people want. It's very difficult to set up distribution when you have something new, but this guy's doing the work and he's getting things out there. What first began in April as an online-only brand for 100% woke-free beer is already being sold in stores and restaurants throughout Georgia and Arkansas after just a couple of months in business, Fox Business has learned. Quote, first they mocked us. They said we'd never sell any beer. They said we'd never get the beer made. They said we would never get distributors. And then they said we'd never get shelf space in stores. And shelf space in stores is really tough to get because stores don't play games with their shelf space. Some of them can be accommodating. Some of them can work with you and be nice, but they want to know when they give up space, are we going to make money with whatever we put in that place? I'm proud to say we've accomplished all those things in a matter of months, CEO Seth Weathers said in a press release first shared with Fox. The conservative ale was an immediate hit among beer drinkers, surpassing 1 million in sales, gaining over 10,000 customers, and selling 20,000 six-packs within the first 2 weeks of its launch in April of this year. Weathers attributed the company's success to individuals, quote, fighting back with their wallet, and said a portion of the sales will help fund the customers' priorities. Conservatives have had enough of woke corporations, and they're fighting back with their wallet, he said. We're doing our part to fight for the causes that matter to our customers by donating a portion of the sales to defeating woke school board members across the country. As the red, white, and blue beer hits the shelves in different corners of America, Weathers revealed there will be more states that will also begin selling the brand in the coming weeks. Quote, if you support conservative values, please go to your local stores in Georgia and Arkansas and grab yourself a six-pack. Let's send a message to woke corporations by becoming a forever brand that helps restore our country's values, Weathers said in the announcement. While Conservative Dad's ultra-right beer has witnessed an uptick in sales, Bud Light parent company Anheuser-Busch saw $27 billion in market value vanish just 2 months after the boycott began over their controversial campaign with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. This is the ultra-right website. It says at the top, ships approximately 30 days after order, exclamation point. So if you're thirsty and you want to get a little bit loaded, you can say to yourself, okay, well, I think I'll put in an online order and I'll just wait, 4 to 6 weeks. I'll get the beer. I've read reviews of the beer where people said, yeah, it's actually pretty good beer. Some people said they've got it. Some people said they ordered it 2 months ago and still haven't gotten it. They said they ordered shirts and they ordered beer, but they got the shirts, but not the beer. Direct to consumer sales like this, especially for a startup, is very difficult. We experience that when we do crowdfunding. Sometimes you have to ship 1,000 orders to different places throughout the country, sometimes outside the country. It's a big job to put it all together. But this guy really has put together a business. He's shipping his products. He needs to turn around orders quicker than 30 days. That's ridiculous. But what's great is now if it's something that's going to be sold in stores, so that when people say, look, I want to support this product, I'll go into the store, I'll buy it off of the shelf, and then I'll have it when I take it from the store off the shelf. That's reasonable. Buying it by mail and waiting 6 weeks to get it or something, that's not reasonable. It's not a real thing. And that's why I didn't do a video based on it. But it's very impressive to see if you want to compete with woke companies, if you don't want to support woke companies, you can go into business against these guys. You can also be careful to decide who you want to give your money to. It doesn't mean that you have to plan your product or beer purchases 6 or 7 weeks in advance. It just means you find out who these companies are, and I'll cover some on my channel for sure. You find out who to stay away from. I'll cover some of those as well, already have. And then you look for those good brands when you go into a store. And of course, you stay away from the stuff that you don't want to support. And you can make a difference. It's really actually unbelievably shocking, and I don't think we've talked about this enough, that Anheuser-Busch lost $27 billion worth of stock market value over the Dylan Mulvaney controversy. Up until the Dylan Mulvaney controversy, they were actually doing very well. For anyone to have said, listen, you know something? This is going to permanently destroy the Bud Light brand. It's not going to be worth anywhere near what it was before this promotion because customers are going to reject it. They're going to reject the brand. They're going to reject other brands from the company. Even the suggestion, there'll be something that the company does, they'll screw up one of their brands, and that will affect other brands. It's beyond comprehension. Yeah, I've never seen it done before, but it happened with Bud Light. The market value loss also happened with Bud Light. And I know looking at things like this where it's like, okay, well, it's just one product. It's ultra right. I mean, the guy has just been in business since April. You probably are listening to this and don't live in Arkansas or Georgia where the stuff is being sold. It may not happen where you have other options tomorrow. You may not have other options next week, but over the course of 3 months, 6 months, a year, you'll probably see you have a lot more options because people do go out of their way to say, you know something? No, we're not just sheep. We're not just going to buy the Skittles anyway when you put weird stuff that's inappropriate on the packaging. We're not going to buy the Harry's razors. We don't want to be part of that ridiculous agenda. We're not going to support Disney products. For Disney to have the attitude, oh, we're just going to do whatever we want to do with the Star Wars brand that was a classic since the 1970s. We'll do whatever we want with those brands to push our progressive agenda because it's the right thing to do. Destroy our heroes from Marvel Comics. Some of us who really cared about those characters and invested in buying those characters. I'm not saying for a monetary return. I'm saying personally invested. You give your child a Spider-Man toy, but you don't know what you're giving him. You don't know what you're giving to your child because when you assume a company is producing a brand and it's cute and maybe it's got positive messages associated with it and you give that toy to your child, you have no idea what the progressives who might control that company are going to do with it 5 or 10 years from now. You don't know that connection that you're making is going to get exploited the way these companies have done this. It's really beyond comprehension because no one could have ever conceived of companies doing things like this, especially when they weren't even in their financial interest. And you'll notice companies don't say anymore, oh, it's just good business. And we've made so much more money because we brought in this extra market and it's working really well for us. Diversity works for us. It really makes us more money. We're not going to give up this percentage of the market just because we want to keep the old market. So we need to update our products. Companies don't even say things like that anymore because it's obvious on its face that it's not true. You can't even gaslight people with that anymore because it's too obvious that it's ridiculous. So even though this is just a small thing, I want you to think about it and realize, you know something? It did just come out of nowhere. It is a direct competitor to Bud Light. Bud Light did create ultra-right with its absolutely thoughtless, woke promotion. These little things can easily turn into big things, and everything starts out small when it starts out and then has an opportunity to grow. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.